sure that they're 1 point behind City again by beating Sheffield United at Bramall Lane and taking them up to 61. As we say, fourth is guaranteed Champions League football, fifth maybe, but fourth in terms of Manchester United, 11 points away. Another defeat for Burnley. Unfortunately, they're 20th in 27 games this season. They and Sheffield United on 13 points, then Luton. And at the moment, the gap there is 4 points from safety. I mean, what does it feel like, Jolyon, to win a derby like that as a City player?
Oh, it's an amazing feeling. Obviously, it's derby for both teams today, but in the bigger perspective of the league, Manchester City will be looking at that thinking now we're closer to Liverpool and all focus will go on to that game, even though there is a game in midweek. But they knew they had to win today. With Liverpool winning, what that does for their morale in terms of the late goal they scored, it was important that Man City come out with 3 points today.
And at the moment, since Christmas, as I say, 9 times out of 10, apart from the draw with Chelsea, they're coming up with the answers, and a lot of them from losing positions as well.
Yeah, again, it's showing character. I'm sure they wouldn't want to use that part of their game. They would want to rely on just being comfortable. And they was comfortable for majority of the game. Obviously, the early goal for United changes the perspective of the game, allows United to sit a little bit deeper, but you expect Man City to score 2 goals. I know they've probably averaged over the course of the season, but they are scoring a high number of goals and they're asking the best of the opposition.
Yeah, they're up to 62 goals for the season. No coincidence that the top 2 are the highest scorers. The top 2 have the most points from losing positions. They're setting the standards again. I mean, we'll get into next Sunday later, but I mean, it's set up beautifully, isn't it?
It was, yeah, it is. 3 teams going at it. And today was vital for them, though. I mean, if they had lost today or even dropped 2 points today, all of a sudden they've pretty much got to go to Anfield and win. They've probably got to beat Arsenal. I mean, all of a sudden, the gun was to their head. And they came up trumps, especially having a bad start as well. So it was a massive win for them. They're still, got a real fight on their hands. This is a 3-way title running. Arsenal go at it tomorrow. You'd expect them to win. And then we have some mouth-watering games, as you say. I'm sure we'll look at them a little bit later. But this has got all the hallmarks of one of the best title run-ins that we've seen in a long time. And we've seen some great ones in recent years. But if we get 3 teams going at it, it'll be special.
Yeah, if Arsenal win tomorrow night, the top 3 are back to being separated by just 2 points. And as Michael says, next Sunday, and City have to play Arsenal.
Yeah, it's exciting. As Michael said, there's a big run of fixtures coming up now. They'd have been nice in April, I think, but we've got them in March, and it's big. You want to beat your rivals. Beating your rivals. City go to Liverpool next week and beat that's massive. I think they'll win the league. But it's a tough place to go. We all know that Anfield's the toughest place to go. Playing really well. But I think we're where we want to be in the title race. For a few years now, it's been a little bit predictable. City have run away with it. It's been a little bit boring, to be honest, the last 5-6 games of the season. But this year, with a bit of luck, we're going to have 3 teams who are still capable of winning the league. So, look, anything can happen. City have got the experience, you have to say that.
And how important is that? Because a lot of Liverpool players haven't since they won the league. And we know what happened to Arsenal last year as well.
Yeah, I think it's more important, Arsenal, that'll be a factor for them in terms of experience. Liverpool have been there and thereabouts. They know what it takes to win as a club. Obviously, there's new members of the squad that haven't won the league, but the club factor last season, Anfield, is obviously an intimidating place, regardless of who's selected. So the experience for Arsenal may be a factor, but for Liverpool and City, I just think they'll be used to winning. We've seen them go on runs of 10, 12 games, consecutive wins, and I think that's a standard now, and that's why I put Arsenal 3rd favourites, because I haven't seen them produce a run of 10 wins in a row, which is the new normal.
OK, let's get back to this game, because you got teased, didn't you, with that start from a Manchester United point of view, with that strike from Marcus Rashford. I mean, what a start to the derby from a United point of view, and from his after week.
Yeah, look, it was a brilliant goal. It's where we expected Manchester United to be dangerous on the counter-attack. It's a big ball. Diaz does get done by Fernandes, who is quite clever. We saw McTominay make the burst forward that we expected as well, the one from midfield trying to join in. And it's a lovely layoff. And look, Marcus, we all know Marcus has got that ability. It's not been seen a lot this year. We know that, but he's always capable of this type of goal. And as you rightly said, it gave us a little bit of a sniff. It gives us a bit of hope, something for United to hang on to, which is the way they played, that first half, there was one chance for Haaland. I think, well, he should have scored, no doubt about that. But United looked reasonably safe. City weren't creating too many clear-cut chances. And like I said before, when you play that way, when you've got a lead, it looks okay. Everyone thinks it's brilliant. It's a masterclass of a tactician performance from the manager, but it isn't really. You're just on the edge of the box and you've got 11 men round the ball and you're just hoping for counter-attack. But once you lose goals, once you go behind, Man United don't really have the answers, and they didn't have the quality of Manchester City. They can't keep a spell of possession for 3 or 4 minutes. You just don't have that quality. And as you saw there with the team at the end, a little bit unrecognisable, really. I
think that played out as well, didn't it? When the board went up 8 minutes at the end, you're expecting, right, Manchester United of old will be 8 minutes to get an equaliser. I don't think they had a touch in the opposition box. It was it was City, wasn't it?
You're more hoping it's not going to be 4 or 5-1 than getting it back to 3-2, 3-3, yeah.
Orange shift.
And was that the key change in that plan as soon as City scored in that second half?
As soon as City went ahead, yeah, I think a draw is acceptable still to play that way. But as soon as they go ahead, then it looks awful, because then you look at United and think, right, we're behind. You've got to try and come out and play now and try and put pressure on City. Try and keep the ball for a spell. Try and get Marcus Rashford in down the sides, Garnacho. Try and bring your best players into the game, but they could never really get a spell of possession. The midfield did okay defensively for a while, but when you're playing against a team like Manchester City, you hardly kick the ball. So it's difficult to really stamp your authority. And again, look, Manchester United are the only team who struggled against them. Every team in Europe almost struggles against them. But look, United have to get better. They have to improve in a lot of areas if they're going to compete with that team.
Before we see the special strike for 1-1, which was pivotal, as Paul says, it was a big talking point. In fact, Erik ten Hag got booked for his protest. Marcus Rashford with Kyle Walker. Were you happy there was nothing given here?
Well, I thought it was correct that nothing was given. I don't know why Marcus Rashford was trying to sort of run across his man to start with. He wasn't even in control of the ball. The ball's going away from him. Surely you've got to control the ball and then cut across your man. And it felt to me, felt to the referee, felt to most people, Andy Townsend in commentary, I thought called it spot on. I don't think there was anything. And actually, he would have been back in this position, potentially just to cut that ball out, Steve. Here we see it. I mean, he's been lying on the ground for a minute or so. If he was back in, he would probably, his position actually is there. That's where he should be if he was not lying on the floor prior to that. So it might have been able to prevent that goal, let's say, stopping it at source. And that's why Erik ten Hag was upset. I get ten Hag arguing the case, but I didn't think it was a foul.
I thought he was just worried about Kyle Walker. Yeah. He forgot about the ball and thinks, I've got to get in front of Kyle Walker. It happened 2 or 3 times. You think of the first half when he had the header. He's conscious of Kyle Walker. And Kyle Walker at the minute has got that influence on people because he's so quick.
Yeah, and again, even there, when you look at the contact, his legs go. At no point should you pull your arm and your legs go. If his body was to rotate, I could understand he's knocked him off balance, but the fact that he just collapsed would suggest he's one was more of a dive than it was a foul.
And let's have a word on Foden's strike. I mean, we talked about Rashford hitting it sweet.
Yeah, again, sensational overall game, but this goal, it was going to take something like that because United were compact and it was hard to break down, but when he cuts inside, I think you'll see, if you see the goal again from another angle, the pitch opens up and I think any later it goes wide, if he strikes it any later. But yeah, for me, defensively, players can be too honest, and I think McTominay's been too honest by tracking the run of Rodri, and it just creates more space for Phil Foden. And if he stayed in a position where he made it harder, then I think he may get a block on the shot.
Phil Foden's been brilliant this season. I don't know how many league titles, he won 5 or 6 league titles already. And he's had involvements in it. Yeah, but I think this season he's took it to a new level where he's almost... His goals at important times are winning Manchester City league titles, potentially winning league titles at this point, and that's when you take your game to another level. He's still 23 years of age. There's so much to come from him. And look, it's worrying for the rest of us. It's worrying for Man United at the minute, but he has become a league winner, not just contributing every now and again. And all his goals are important goals. City was struggling at one point here, then he produces something like that, and all of a sudden, bang, it all opens up, he scores again. Which, do you know what, I thought the keeper should have done a little bit better with the second goal, but he's starting everything, he's taking that responsibility. At 23 years of age, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, this is his second goal. I wanted to ask you a question about the first goal. We'll look at the second goal here. I mean, I thought Erling Haaland, his movement away just created that big space as well. But at this point, after he scored his first goal, he's on top of the world, isn't he? He's so confident. Just look at this gap between Varane and Lindelof, just open up there, really wide, a bit of movement from both Haaland and I think it's Alvarez on the ball there, and it just opens up. And as you say, maybe the goalkeeper could have done better.
Casemiro, Michael, look at Casemiro there as well, getting 1-2. For a defensive holding midfield player, that's criminal. That's the first thing.
The gap shouldn't be that far. When Phil Foden receives the ball back,
the gap shouldn't be that far. And Casemiro, the experience he's got, he should not be getting 1-2 in that position.
I actually think he made the wrong decision when shooting. I thought that the right decision was to square it to Haaland, who's got an open goal to score, but obviously the outcome was a goal, so it tends to be the right decision.
The goalkeeper has to do better as well, Michael. Yeah. It's such a soft, weak hand there. It's not a hard shot.
Just going back to... Well, we'll have a look at this again here, but we see the way it all opens up perfectly for Foden. It's a great finish. From his point of view, it's a great finish in the end, and that was the killer blow. And as
you've got to man if he misses, though.
Yeah,
you're thinking, well, I've got to tap in. I've literally got to tap in.
Yeah, he was screaming, wasn't he, Haaland? But just going back to the first goal, I'm interested because Foden's got the ball there. Of course, he's very left-footed. Where do you stand with sending him down onto the right-hand side, or as a midfielder, as a centre-half? You're both in a similar area here. Do you want to bring him into the bodies?
No chance. He has scored the right foot. If you remember his chance in the first half where he went clean through, he could not wait to get on his left foot. You saw how uncomfortable he was going to the right-hand side, and he struggled. His finish was nothing really. It was a missed kick. So if you let him, a player of that quality, he can do so much in his left foot. He can play somebody in just down the side on the angle. He can do that, what he did. He's got to go down the right-hand side. Now, look, he's playing against a centre-half who's playing left-back. You think if that's Luke Shaw, he's right up against him. He's not giving him any time whatsoever.
But Lindelof is trying to show him down the line, but he's obviously not cut off the inside. He's not making it more obvious, more predictable, because he's trying to show him down the line, but he's giving him the inside. So I don't understand. There's obviously no communication. Again,
he's nowhere near aggressive as Jordan. I think he's coming into Lindelof's strong side. Yeah. That's where he should be. Just let him go down the outside. The amount of times he went down the outside in the first half, he can't cross the ball with his right foot. He'll try, but there's odd time it goes into the keeper's hands. He's far less effective when he's going down the right-hand side. Left-hand side, like I say, he can play. He's got the brilliance to play somewhere. He can go in, he can play a 1-2, or he can smash the ball in the top corner. So keep him on his right side as much as you can.
Welcome on. Manchester City, 18 shots in that first half at the Etihad Stadium, but Manchester United lead the derby by 1-0. And what a start they got, Paul, after 8 minutes. The man on everyone's lips for various reasons this week. What a hit from Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. It's very direct from the goalkeeper. I think Diaz will be a little bit disappointed. He lets Fernandes get in there. But what a strike from Marcus Rashford. When it's rolling back to him, it's something, you know, your eyes light up and you think, no, I'm going to give it a real hit there, and he does. And no, it always looks better when it goes in off the crossbar as well. As I say, I think Diaz will be a little bit disappointed. We said McTominay would be the one from midfield breaking forward. He makes that space for him. Lovely little layoff for Fernandes, and it's begging to be hit, and Marcus Rashford does not disappoint.
What about from the City's defending point of view there, Julian?
Yeah, as Paul said, I think Diaz can do better initially. He doesn't realise that Ake's a little bit deeper, but I don't know if there's a need to play offside that high up the pitch when the keeper's got the ball in his hands. I think he can give away a couple of yards and just defend the long ball. He doesn't do that, and then for me, then you see Rodri get back goal side. I don't think he needs to do that either. Sometimes players are so eager to get goal side, it allows then the forward player to come back out and create an opportunity for someone else. I think if he closes him down from the front, he isolates him 2v1 in City's favour, but you can take nothing away from the strike.
Give me a word to describe that strike from Marcus Rashford.
I mean, incredible. He's the man in the headlines, isn't he, at the moment? I mean, his teammates do really well. Bruno Fernandes does great, protects the ball well. McTominay's run and Scholes, he mentioned, clears the space, but then it's all about keeping your knee over the ball and striking it, you know, with as much power as possible. And he did absolutely that. That quietened down a lot of people, and that's exactly what he's got to do. He's got to answer people on the pitch. And after 8 minutes, he did just that.
Should he have scored more? in that first half.
Yeah, he possibly should have. Look, we made the point that Manchester are going to be deep. They're going to get these opportunities on the counter-attack, and this was the perfect one for him. It's a terrible touch with his head, and it's quite a simple one, I think, as well. Michael will tell you, as you're running through there, it's just a simple little... With your head, that's easy.
It's very difficult, isn't it, to miscue it with your head. You know, your eye, obviously, you know, your eyes are there. You're looking at it, you're an inch away with your and to miscue it with your... Now, he possibly knows Kyle Walker's behind him.
I was just going to say, that's the only excuse.
But I still can't... And this is a big chance as well. I'm not sure whether he should go laces here. You know, I'm never an advocate for just smashing it, but I think if he lets that come across his body another couple of inches, it makes the technique a little bit easier.
Yeah, look, it's a very strange finish. As you say, it's with his leg.